Okay, hello, everyone. So we are on part 54. This is the last part of the business class. Last part, 54. It's amazing, yes? So part 54, today is the 9th of January 2026, and we are on part 2 of Command Over Life. And today is going to be different. I'm going to teach you something that you think you know, but you'll discover some amazing thing about it. But let's start. Welcome to your 54th, the last GP University class of out of 50. No recording, please. Nothing I say today is true unless, of course, it is true for you. Don't let me move from point A to point B before you understand point A. All I teach is simple, since the end result of complication is unworkability. And most importantly, you're not a spectator in the class, you're a participant, a partaker. You'll get results only if you participate. Find the chat, you need to participate. If you don't participate, you're wasting your time sitting in your room and watching this. Go and watch Netflix. We are going to learn applicable knowledge, and the purpose is results, not thinking. To get results, you will need to apply what you have learned. To ensure you apply, I will give you drills to do in the class and homework to execute after the class. You'll need to do the drills and report them as completed by the time I've asked for them. You will need to submit your homework at least one day before the next lesson. If you fail to do the drills and report completion during the class, or if you fail to submit the homework on time, I will not allow you to join the next lesson or get a recording of the next lesson, and I will not guarantee the result, and you will not be able to get any refund. So here we go. Here we go. We are starting. This universe is a tough universe. And even the lions have hard time surviving this game, and hence the business class is for the brave, for the tough one, for the one who wants result, for those that are willing to do what it takes, not what is possible from their limited viewpoint. And here for the tough one, for those that actually willing to participate despite all the internal stuff that tell them maybe someone will make fun of me, maybe I will be wrong, etc. You cannot be wrong. You cannot be wrong. Okay, so participate. We are going to learn and apply how to establish, run, and correct any organization, and as the result, you will get profit. But you will not get the income, the profit, if you do not insist on understanding each and every word I say, as will be very evident by the inability to apply and so bring about the expected result. The only reason one does not get the expected result is fake realities, which are the manifestation of failure to confront. Command Over Life, part 4, we are starting. How can you truly increase results? What do you need to do to increase results in life, in any area? What do you need to do? Help more, take action, measure, consistency, communication, take action, communication, create, confront. Yes. What do you need to bring results in any area? To increase result, what do you need? Increase, clarify, and define the result first. Right action consistently, find correct problem and to correct, define the ideal scene, communication, control, set out the ideal scene and work back and create more and more steps that you do to reach that. Yes, certainty, define the target. Yes, willingness. This is what we're going to deal with today. Put it there. Do the small changes. Define the result, act. Unfortunately, none of you gave me the actual answer. How you truly increase your result. Admire, yes. everything that you say has some workability in it, but it's not the basic. It's not the thing that in the physical universe, how do you bring results? So let's start. Remove the handbrakes. Yes, but how? I didn't see a handbrakes on your body. Observe what is workable and do not. Yes. Hiring me. Yes. That's a very correct answer, but not the exact. Okay. So here we go. Here we go. The problem of life is not survival. It is not comfort. The problem of life is the relentless demand for better results. There is always a demand for better result. If you don't bring better result, you go backward. Do you agree with that? Yeah. The average person began as expected, school, then 3 to 5 years given to college or university. If they do well, they are promoted out of their smallest role into position related to what they study, or they step out alone and open a business of their own. And then, very quickly, a quiet shock arrives. With all due respect to everything that was learned, almost none of it works. You will see that you've learned a lot of things, but actually, in reality, it doesn't work in real life. You've done an MBA and you go to business, it doesn't work. It's nonsense. Because life does not happen in classrooms, life happens in the war zone of results. Life happens in the war zones of results. So you begin again. You begin again. You relearn not from books, but from consequence. Not from theory, but from impact. And there, under pressure, a painful realization emerges. The thing that actually creates success were never taught to you. No one showed you how to get clients, how to sell, how to face the tax authorities and endless bureaucracies. No one prepared you for the day an employee does not show up and delivery is still demanded, or for the angry client, or for the average employee who is convinced he knows better than you, yet cannot manage his own life. True or false? Yes. Mhm. Yeah. No one explained how to deal with with banks, with cash flow issues, with uncertainty, and with million other things. So you realize you do not need more theory. You need real knowledge. Something that works. Something executable. Yes, this is like you get this cognition, yes? Something clear. So you seek it. Courses in sales and courses in not so effective marketing and social media. And of course, you do not skip AI, systems, and methods. And yes, something improves, but only slightly. Only slightly. And there lies the danger. Because slight improvement creates massive confusion. And I will explain what I mean. Now your mind is crowded with theories stacked on theories, system layered on systems, steps contradicting steps. You feel intelligent yet immobile, paralyzed by knowledge, and suit the discomfort, you recall a familiar phase. You have so much data, and conflicting data, and data that doesn't work. And you say, You learn all your life and you die stupid. Did you ever heard that? Yeah. And you accepted this total nonsense as wisdom. You accept this total nonsense as wisdom. Overwhelm is mistaken for depth. You think, oh, this is deep. No, 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 you are overwhelmed. You are overwhelmed. Are you with me? And you pay for it, yes, Arjuna. Yet the truth is far simpler and far more unforgiving. The difference between those who produce results and those who do not has nothing to do with intelligence. It has nothing to do with talent. Any idea what it has to do with? What is the difference? Persistence, yes. Your viewpoint, certainty, persistence, yes. Application, willingness, clarity, spiritual condition, action, willingness to do the boring action over and over, misunderstood words, persistent, tenacity, yes, willingness, admire, ability to create. Yes, know that you know, understanding, very good. So Celeste and Kapil is getting closer. It rests entirely on the ability to learn. It rests entirely on the ability to learn. Those who can learn inevitably succeed, and those who cannot do something else. What do they do? Those that can learn cannot fail, they will succeed. And those who cannot do something entirely different, do you know what they do? Try to survive, criticize, cannot succeed, criticize. Yes, you are right. They explain, they justify, they narrate their own defeat until it sounds reasonable. Slowly, they arrive at one of life's comfortable conclusion. This is just how life is. Or they point outwards to the Democrats or Republicans, to the system, to history, to fate, to government. There's nothing you can do. I did what I could. I was unlucky. I wasn't born the right color. And finally, the retreat into the last refuge. You learn all your life and you die stupid. And with that sentence, learning itself is abandoned. Because why should I learn? Because in any case, I'm going to die stupid. Yes? Yet, the truth is mercilessly simple. There's only one way to succeed, and it is to learn how to learn correctly. Now, you or most of you think that you know what I'm talking about. You even can parrot the correct things. But I promise you that by the end of today, you will realize that you have something to learn. Those who truly succeed never stop learning. Those who truly succeed never stop learning. How do you learn, by the way? How do you learn? How do you learn? How does a person learn? Apply? How can you apply if you don't understand? Get rid of fake reality. How? Learn by seeking knowledge. You seek knowledge. Yes, put into practice. Willingness to have other viewpoint, to make moving data, clearing words, communicating. Yes. Understanding the work. Yes. Okay. Get the knowledge. You need to understand the content. Yes. I've got news for you. I've got big news for you. Those who truly succeed never stop learning, but they do not collect facts. Those who truly succeed never stop learning, but they don't collect facts. Learning is not to collect facts. They do not chase techniques. They do not drown in facts. They learn principles. They learn the underlying principles of the domain they touch. The causes beneath the effect, the structure beneath the noise. So the key here is to learn principle, but still, how do you learn? How do you even know if it's a principle or a fact? How do you even know, is it a principle or a fact? Is it worth learning? Are you with me? How do you even know what to learn? What is principle as distinct from all other data? What is a principle as distinct from all other data? Fact change all the time. The principle, if it applies to all area of life, principles apply to everything, not specific. If it applies to you get result you want, it bring results, it works every situation, works. So what is a principle? Something you know that is true. True for who? Always create the same results, but always create the same result in a universe that always changes. It does not work every time. It is not a principle. Okay, fundamental, not shifting. Like a law of nature, fundamental truth works always, won't have question. Okay. A principle is not information you possess, but understanding that dissolves all resistance. Understanding. What is understanding? What is understanding? Principle is not information you possess. It's not facts, yes? Make it your own, yes. When you fully duplicate something, yes. The exact duplication. Understanding is actually the result of life. When a person is alive, he understands. And when a person is dead, he does not understand. So the more you understand, the more alive you are. The more people understood the effect of bacteria, the more life they have, the longer the life expectancy. The more we understand the ocean, the longer we can live underneath the ocean. The more we understand flying, the more we can fly, the further we can fly. We can live, we can put life into the sky. Are you with me? So principle dissolves everything, dissolve all barriers. If it does not dissolve the barrier, it's not a principle. If you have a principle, nothing is a problem for you. If you consider that there is a problem, you still don't know the principle. Are you with me? So if you have problem with money, you are missing the principles related to money. If you have problems with your body, you don't understand the principles of the body. When fully grasped, it removes the barriers to action and quietly reshapes outcomes. Not in one place, but across every domain it touches. So when you fully understand principles, the principle, this understanding alone without any action removes the barriers to action. When you understand the principle, for example, if you understood how to do 7 times 7, okay? When you fully grasp that, it removes the barrier to doing 7 times 7. And it reshapes the outcome, yes? The moment that you fully grasp the principle of driving, there's no barriers in driving. Are you with me? So where data informs, principle transforms. Principles highlight both the right way and the wrong way. This is one of the unique things about the principle. It shows you both sides of the physical universe. It teaches you how to handle the right way and the bad way. Otherwise, one side will be uncontrolled. To learn the principle of an area is to gain sight, to see what works and what quietly destroys. Because any area that you don't have the principle for, you will destroy in that area. It's not that you will not bring results, you will destroy. If you don't have the principles of relationships, you will destroy all your relationships. If you don't have the principles of accounting, you will destroy the books. If you don't have the principles of how the body works, you will destroy the body. Are you with me? So what is the result of learning the principle of an area? What do you think is the result of learning the principle of an area? You can control the area, control over the area, control, mastery over the area, understanding, yes, yes, improvement, yes, results, you bring about the, okay, massive result, knowing, control, certainty, yes, okay. Before I will get into what is the result of learning the principle of an area, I want to ask you one more question. How would you define the word cope? To cope with something. To put up with, yes. How do you to understand it? Is to tolerate, yes. Deal with the things, yes. To fully in control, yes. To manage it, okay. Yeah, you basically have it. Okay, let's have a look what the dictionary say. Okay, so the dictionary define COP as to handle something successfully, to deal effectively with a difficult problem or situation. Okay, everyone with me on that? Now let's look at the actual definition. The action of handling a difficult problem or situation without isolating the controlling principles, thereby keeping the real reason for the problem unknown and ensuring the worsening of the problem or the situation. So when you just cope with something, you will have to continuously cope. The demand for the cope will increase. Are you with me? If you just deal with that, you didn't handle it. You understand? It will come back. Most of the people, most of the time, cope with life, cope with problem, cope with income. So what they have, the action of handling a difficult situation, a problem or situation without isolating the controlling principles. Are you with me? Without isolating the controlling principles. So you don't actually find really what's the principles in the area. So you cannot find the real why. You cannot find the real reason for the problem. It's remain unknown. And so you ensure by copying every time you cop, you worsen the situation. You don't have money, you borrow money. You cop. Yes, you just cop with the situation. You worsen the situation. You have a headache, you take a pill. You worsen the situation. You feel alone, you get married. You worsen the situation. Are you with me? If you don't find what is the principles that governing this area, you will not be able to find the real reason for the problem. The result of learning the principle is the reduction of coping in life and the increase of order in life. So for example, you really try to increase the size of your business and you really try and you got to a certain amount and you want to really increase, you want to release yourself from running the day to day, and you don't understand what do you need to, what are the principle of how do you move a person from running a business that is a successful business but not big and making it into a huge business. And the principle there is, even if I would give it to you right now, it will sound to you too simple and it will not help you. All you have to do is to write your head. If you write it, you'll be able to do power change. If not, you won't. It's simple. But because you don't understand, you don't fully grasp the principle, you will not be able to ever leave your post. And actually, eventually, it will collapse on you. That's why most businesses collapse. Are you with me? Because if you cannot write your post, when you're hiring people, they become a problem because you cannot train them. So it's quite amazing. What is the difference between confronting and looking? By the way, most of the people, most of the life are just coping with things. If you have been worried, you have been copying. If you've been surprised, you've been copying. If you did not succeed as much, you have been copying. If you lost money, you have been copying. If you lost anything, you have been copying. Most of the people, most of their life, just copying. They have no order. Why? Because they don't know how to learn. They don't know how to learn, and when they learn, they don't know how, is it a principle or is it just another fact? So what is the difference between confronting and looking? Not observation, confronting and looking. Confronting is to create it and looking is to see it. Okay. Passive and active. Confront, you put it there. Look is more effect. Confronting is causative. Looking is effect. Yes, confront is the action. Yes. The difference between confronting and looking is that when you confront, you compare what you observe to the principle of life, whereas when you look, you compare what you see, what is there, to your past. Exactly, boom. When you confront, you look at something that happened and you compare it to the principle, so you don't need to cope and become insane or more insane, but you actually improve the situation. I'll give you an example. Let's say that you get a relationship. You get into a relationship with a guy or with a lady, okay? And now at the beginning, you have a very strong purpose and you create the relationship, and very quickly you will hit the first snag. You'll hit the first problem. Now you have two options: to cop, which mean to look at what happened and to compare it to an earlier girlfriend that you had, or to your mother, or something else, or to say, what is the principle here? Are you with me? If I compare it to the principle and she tells me, look, I don't like that you say blah, blah, and you know the principle, the situation will end up with one of two things: either an amazing relationship, or you realize that she is not there to understand the principle at all. And so you have to make a choice. You're either going to educate her, be patient and educate her, or buy a new one. It is really unbelievable. Most of the time, people compare whatever happening to the past, and so they just copying. To get out of cop, you really have to start comparing what's going on, any situation in front of you with the principles. Otherwise, the demand for cop will increase and you will not be able to cop. Are you with me? Yes. This is so unbelievable. This is so unbelievable. Yes. The more you cop, the more the demand for cop increase and the more the confusion increase. Because cop is like sugar, you know? It tastes nice, but it kills you. You must be able to confront everything in order to live, but you cannot confront if you do not know the principle of life. You cannot confront if you don't know the principle of life. So people say, yes, I really want to confront. I'm going to confront. I understand. I can face anything. And they cannot confront because they don't know the principle. If you don't know the principle of the body, how the body operates with entities and whatever, the first time that you will have any kind of difficulties with the body, you will give up. You will not be able to do what it takes. Are you with me? Because you don't understand the principles. So, despite your very high willingness to, oh, you say that you have high willingness, but you cannot have high willingness if you don't understand the principle. The only willingness happen is if you understand the principles. Otherwise, who can stay willing when he fail and fail and fail and fail if he has to cop and cop and cop? Because when you cop, the end result of coping is failure. If you have a business and there's problems and you never organize the business, you just manage, you just borrow money and move people from one place to another place and lie to this client and lies to this supplier and lie to your staff and you're just copying, you're trying to somehow manage. The end result is a disaster. It collapses on you because you don't know the principle. If you don't know the principles of sales, you will lie to the client, you will promise him so much that you will never be able to deliver. And if you will deliver, he will never be happy. You don't know the principles. Are you with me? And as your ability to confront increases, as your ability to compare what's going on with the principle increases, your willingness to handle also increases. So when you see an argument, when you see a disagreement, it's either that both sides don't know the principles, or at least one side do not understand the principles. And so they operate on feelings. When you see a person that operates on feeling, no, this is what I feel, or I don't like it, or it's hard, or anything like that, the guy that complained do not know about the principles. It's quite amazing, yes? If you can confront something, you will handle it. If you cannot confront it, you will become the effect of it. It will handle you. When you consider yourself to be the effect of something, you will demonstrate unwillingness. When you consider yourself to be the effect of something, you will demonstrate unwillingness. Unwillingness, what kind of unwillingness? What kind of unwillingness? When you consider yourself to be the effect, oh, I don't like it. Why do you do that? It's not nice, blah, blah, blah. You will demonstrate unwillingness to what? Unwillingness to be responsible, to communicate and create, to confront, to communicate, unwillingness to lose or make mistakes, lack of responsibility. Yes, unwillingness. Okay, unwillingness to handle is the unwillingness to compare a situation to the principles. And by doing so, to remove the barriers to action and ensure improved results in all areas related to these principles. So when you see unwillingness, you know the person is not willing to compare the situation to the principles. They're comparing it only to the past. And so it will be very difficult, huge effort, no progress. Are you with me? Now, if you look in your own life, every time you didn't like something, every time you could not win and lose with the same level of enthusiasm, you were just unwilling to compare the current situation to the principles, and you relied on your past, and to that degree, you went cuckoo. All unwillingness is the manifestation of comparing the situation to your past. If you don't know the principle, there's nothing to compare with, so you will deteriorate. You will compare it with your past. You have to compare it. You live within the physical universe. So people that don't know the principles deteriorate. Did you notice that once you started to learn the principles, you improved? Yeah, of course. You learn control equal income and immediately you improve. Why? Because now you have a principle. Oh, control is just closing cycles of action. Okay, you improve because now you have the principles. You compare the situation to the principles and not saying, oh, this guy, he's just a bad guy. Or he is, what do they like to say? Gali, what's the name of this thing that people like to say? Uh, we had an interview about it. Narcissist, yes, narcissist. He's narcissist. It's not a principle. It's just a label. So they say he's narcissist and that's it, finished. Or you are difficult. He's difficult. It's not a principle, you understand? So if you don't use a principle, you will deteriorate the situation. Complexities are the result of unwillingness to confront, while simplicities are the result of willingness to confront. So complexities are the result of unwillingness to compare the situation to the principles, and simplicities are the result of the willingness to compare the situation to the principles. Does it make sense? Now, here is something that you will need to chew on. Unwillingness to confront produces lies and continuation. If you are unwilling to confront, you will always deal with lies and continuation. You will not be able to undo those things that prevent you from improving, including the pictures in your mind. So if you have a situation that repeat and repeat and repeat and repeat, it means you're unwilling to confront. If you get re-stimulated about the same kind of thing, if you get upset about the same kind of thing, if you get worried, if you get anxious about the same kind of thing, it is always you're unwilling to confront. You do something, you compare the situation to something from your past rather than a principle. We didn't change the confront because confront is looking at something comfortably and perceiving. If you will look at something comfortably and perceiving, it means that you compared it to the principles, so you undid anything within it. Willingness to confront produces truth and creation. And you'll see that when you can confront something, you create beautiful things. Everything is easy, everything is flowing. When you're unwilling to confront, it's difficult. There's a lot of effort because you produce lies and continuation. So unwillingness to confront bring lies and continuation, yes? It makes things solid. The cause of insanity is non-confront. So if unwillingness to confront produce lies and continuation, obviously the cause of insanity is non-confront. So for as long as you don't learn the principles, your life will be mess. For as long as you're unwilling to realize that the principle is the most important thing in the universe, your life will be a mess. Successful people learn all the time. They learn the principles of the subject. They know that if they do not achieve the expected results and they continue doing what they did yesterday, not only will the result will not improve, they will worsen. They really understand. They need to learn the principles. The only way to improve your results is to learn the principles that open the door to improved actions and therefore to improved result. Are you with me? Everyone with me? Perfect. A principle, as opposed to any other data, is a piece of information that, when fully understood, removes barriers to action and ensures improved results in all areas related to that principle, which means that if you don't have the energy, if you feel tired, if you cannot make yourself do something, you're operating on your past, not on a principle. You're missing the principle. Every time you felt tired, it is because you're operating not on a principle. Because the principle, when fully understood, removes barriers to action. So how do I find the principle to apply? As we explained before, by making sure that you understand what I'm explaining now and not what's the future. How do I find the principle to apply? This is really the key, because if you just understand that, you'll see that you will know what a principle is because the definition gives you what are the principles to apply. Are you with me? Successful people recognize those who know the principles and they insist on learning only from them, from the successful. Failing people find fault with successful people and therefore cannot learn from them. You see, successful people recognize those who know principles. That's what they recognize. Failing people get upset by you indicating the principles. They will try to slow you down. They will say that you are too harsh, that you are too sure. How can you be so sure? How can I be so sure? Because I know the principle and I bring result every time. No, he's too sure. He's not humble. Why should I be humble if I bring result? I make the result humble. Are you with me? Successful people find principles in successful people and therefore can learn from them. So what is learning? What is learning? What is learning? It's so important to learn what is learning, as opposed to study, as opposed to education. Removing fake realities, making it yours, removing lies, fully duplicate something, observing, make it yours, removing fake realities, the process of removing, yes, removing. What is learning? Applying principle, understanding fully principle, understanding. Okay. Duplicating, understanding, and applying. Okay. Learning is not accumulating of facts. Facts are the current majority agreement. And since agreement is an agreed upon limitation, facts are, by definition, limiting factors. I'll give it to you again. Look at this thing. Learning is not accumulation of facts. Facts are the current majority agreement. Does everyone agree with that? Yes. So it's an agreement. Yes, it's the current majority agreement. An agreement is just a limit. It's just a limitation you take on yourself. Yes. So since agreement is an agreed upon limitation, facts are by definition limiting factors. So the more you collect facts independent of principles, the more limited you will become. So you take a professor that have a lot of facts, you will be very, very failing. Are you with me? When a teacher rely on facts and do not understand the principle, the teacher will be failing and his students will also be failing. If you go to school for 12 years and then attended college and university, all you have done is accumulate facts. You become stupider. At least 98% of those facts, in the best case, you will never use. And in the worst case, they will prevent you from progressing in life. Those facts prevent you from improving in life. You'll see that most of the people that are actually successful did not go to school. They made it go right. When was the last time you used square root to live? When was the last time you used square root when you went to the supermarket? Who reaches for trigonometry when buying a home or running a company? Who consults Julius Caesar's to decide today's action? Who used parabolas, sinus, cosinus? Nothing, it's nonsense. Most of what is taught is never used, and what is unused does not disappear. It remains open. It does not disappear, it remains open. Unapplied facts become unfinished cycles, quietly restricting flows, quietly limiting income. Open cycle remain an open cycle because a fact is a lie, is a limitation. Learning is not storage. Learning is a process. What is the purpose of learning? What is the purpose of learning? Why do people learn? Apply, yes? To be able to take action, to understand, to be able to use that, to apply, produce result, delete fake reality, to progress, to understand. Yes, bring result. The purpose of learning is, number one, new understandings, and number two, better ways to act and do things. This is why you learn. If you don't bring new understanding, you didn't learn. And if you don't bring a better way to do, to act, or do things, you didn't learn. What does it mean, new understanding? What does it mean, new, in that content? What does it mean, new? What is new? Next level, another viewpoint. New viewpoint. Can you show me something in the physical universe that it's new? Is there anything in the physical universe that is new? You see, in the physical universe, a new car is called a new car, but it's actually just change of something. For something to really have new, it has to be created by you. So new understanding is an understanding that was not given to you, but understanding that you created, life you created. So if you repeat what I say, there's no new understanding. You're just a parrot. You have to be something that you created. If you learned and you do not have new understanding, new life, or you do not know how to act and do things better, then you did not learn. You were programmed. You understand the difference? You were programmed. You did not learn. You become a robot. When you just collect facts, you are programmed. You're not learning. You do not know how to learn, so you learn incorrectly, and that creates an open cycle. You now have a failed purpose. If you learned incorrectly, if your purpose of learning is always new understanding and better ways to do things, but if you don't know how to learn, so you will learn incorrectly, you will not have new understandings and better ways to do things, which means you try to learn, you try to bring new life, and you killed someone. You try to bring better ways to act and do things, and you fall asleep. You find you cannot understand. Are you with me? So if you sit in a class and you let something be misunderstood, if you are in life and you get anything around you be misunderstood, you're having a failed purpose. Anything. And the magic is that to learn, to get new understanding or better way to act or do things, you just need to decide that you know. Are you with me? So every time you went to school and you didn't really understand what's going on, you had failed purpose. That failure become personal proof that you must stop. And you will stop yourself and others from that moment onward. From that moment onward, if you did not learn, if you didn't create new, if you were not willing to compare the situation to the principle, you will have a failed purpose that will prove to you that you fail. And because you fail, you will stop yourself and anyone around you. And that's how you become slow. That's why you cannot experience things. That's why you will want to slow things. You will know what must not be done. Yet, to produce result, you must also know what must be done. So you will be an expert in stopping. You will be an expert in what must not be done. You will be an expert in criticism. You will be an expert in stopping. And you will not be able to experience anyone that knows. So you will learn only from the stupid. And the people that knows, you will fight. I will give you a piece of data that is the most unbelievable one, and you will not accept it because you know you need to stop, and this thing will not stop. And someone will give you a total nonsense, and you will. You will do investment that will be bad investments. You'll create a relationship that will be nightmare. You'll make continuous decisions that will get you downtown and downtown and downtown. You end up with a stuck life being an effect. Are you with me? To costing, you must be cause, and to be cause, you need a future intention and goal. So to cause things, you must be cause. And to be cause, you need a future intention and a goal. Yet for those who stuck in life, there is no future intention and no goal, only past intention and no goals. You see, to cause thing, you must be cause, and to be cause, you need future intention and a goal. But if you're stuck in life because of failed purposes, because you failed to learn, there is no future intention for you because you look backward. There's no future for you. And there's no goal because you look only backward. You compare everything to the past. So in the past, there are no goals. In the past, there is no future intention. So when you compare things to the past, there is no future intention. You don't want to create future. You actually want the opposite of future. You want past, which means destroyed future. You understand that if you look at the past, you actually destroying the future. Attention in the past is destruction of the future. You understand that, yes? And if your intention is into the future, you're destroying the past. Attention in the past, when you don't compare what's going on with the principles, you compare it with the past and you destroy your future and everyone else's future. Before you can cause, you must know you are going to do, but you cannot do after a failed purpose. You cannot. You are dedicated to stopping. If you had a bad relationship with the one woman and two women and three women, you will see that you will be very careful about starting a relationship with the fourth woman. And even if you will start the relationship with the fourth woman, it will not really be a relationship. It will be an exam. Are you with me? It will not be a relationship, yes? If you try one business and you failed, you'll think twice before you open the next business. If you lost money, it will take you 10 to 15 years to recover because you're on a stop, you're on a failed purpose, and you know what you must do to stop. So even if someone will come and give you gold, you will throw it away. You will not take it because you may lose. And all of it come from failure to learn the principles. Because the principles actually will be what will set you free. It's not the truth that will set you free, but it's the principles. You will fail to the degree that you are stopping, even if the stopping is a good stop. So even if you are stopping an attack, which is good, you will fail to that degree. So instead of saving money, which is a stop, make money. Instead of being careful, which is a stop, be able, be competent. Instead of dwelling on the past, create. Are you with me? Because if you dwell on the past, you destroy the future. Are you with me? This is really amazing. And therefore, any goal, even a poor goal, is better than none because a goal takes you out of the past. Any motion is better than stopping. Let's do it. Let's do it. Even if we do it incorrectly, let's do it. It's fine. Understanding the purpose of learning opens the door to proper learning. The purpose of learning is new understanding and better ways to do things. If you really understand that's really the purpose, now you can learn. Because I want new understanding. New meaning I created the understanding, not Meir gave it to me or the book gave it to me, and I got a better way to do things. And how do I do it? By taking what's in front of me and comparing it to the principles. So, what is the only way to have a new understanding? What is the only way to have new understanding? How do you get new understanding? Knowing principles, yes. Learning, like your own to create it true, very good. To create it very true, yes. Yes, you get it. Yes, you got it. You got it. To make it your own, exactly. New can only come from you. New is not a change. New is not taking something that exists and molding it. New is something out of nothing. New is something that is created. It's something that came from nothing. Do you understand this concept? Nothing out of something out of nothing? The only way to bring something is out of nothing. Otherwise, you don't bring something, you don't create, you change. It's big different. Yes? And understanding is life. And understanding is life. Do you understand that? Yes? If you try to talk to a dead person, you see no life. Understanding is affinity, reality, and communication. So the first purpose of learning is for you to create what is new, your life, rather than remain the effect of the old or of a life that is not yours. So the first purpose of learning is not understanding 2 times 2, is to create, to be able to create, to say, I know. And what do you create? Your life. Rather than remain the effect of the old or of a life that is not yours. Thank you. Are you with me? Do you get that? So most people look at learning as let me be an effect. So they don't participate because they're an effect. They're sitting there. They don't participate. They're just an effect. They're just an amoeba. You cannot learn without participating, because if you create, automatically you have to participate. You will have to say it's there because you brought something out of nothing. You didn't bring an idea. You brought something out of nothing. So if you don't somehow participate, you didn't create, regardless of how you justify it. Quite amazing. If you did not participate in life, you don't create life. You're the effect of life. That's why you don't like your life. 100%. You cannot learn something new unless it is. How can you understand something new? Do you compare it to what? When I say 7, you go to your mind or you go to what you know, and you know what 7 is because you compare it to something that you create in your own universe. How can you learn something if you don't have a reference? What is the only way to gain better ways to act and do things? What is the only way? What is the only way to gain better ways to act and do things? We know what we need to do in order to get new understanding, yes? Learning. What is the only way to gain better ways to act and do things? Learn to apply the knowledge of principles, participate and take action comparing to principles. Yes. Apply and improve. Have a look. What is it? Have a look. Participate, yes. Confront it, yes. Have a look. Create. Mhm. Create is how we got to a new understanding, yes? How do you actually, very good, Adari, you getting there? Okay. By fully defining the target, what you want to have. If you have the target, if you know the target, if you know this is the thing that I want to have, this is the mountain, then you will know what you need to do. You'll find better ways to act and doing. Are you with me? If this is the mountain, okay, this is where I want to go. And here there's many, 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 many trees. And I'm here. If I know the target, I will find the better ways to do things. I will find exactly what's the best way to do it. Make sense or not? So when you learn, you bring about new understandings and you gain better ways to act and do things by understanding, by putting it there, what you're trying to achieve. There need to be a purpose for learning. Learning without purpose is useless. So what turns learning from damaging accumulation of facts into effective learning? What turns learning from damaging accumulation of facts into effective learning? Yes, Sadai. Applying, yes, purpose. What turns understanding, comparing to the principle, making it yours? Very good. Proper learnings is composed of few secrets. If you will know those secrets, I will give you today some of the secrets, and I'll give you the full comprehensive list of secrets in the first extreme wisdom lesson. Exactly. The first secret of effective learning is this. You must have a purpose for your study. Purpose for your study. What is study? Not purpose for your learning, purpose for your study. What is study? How would you define study? As opposed to learning. We have a purpose. For learning, what is study? Gain knowledge, discovery. Yes. True. Bernard, that's true. Kyle, that's true. What is study? Break down all the parts. Yes. True. What is study? To see many viewpoints. Yes. So study is only to read, to research, to investigate, to ask about something and to look at it. Study is the action of reading, research, investigation, to ask about something and to look at it. That's all study is. Are you with me? Once you study something, you learned. Why do you study? Why do you study? Why do you study? To gain better understanding and improve, to learn exactly. You got it. So if you study something and have no purpose for it, and by the way, while a certificate may be a byproduct of learning, it's never the purpose of learning. So if you study something and have no purpose for it, you will not gain new understanding or better ways to act and do things. So you will not learn. You understand? If you don't have a purpose, you will not learn. If I put you at school from the age of 6 to the age of 18 and you have no purpose for the study, you will not learn anything. That's why you sat at school and you didn't learn anything because there was no purpose. You will not learn, you understand? The same applies if you study only to pass an exam. The purpose of study is also not the accumulation of fact. The purpose of study is to learn something so that you produce ever improving results. And that, by the way, is education. Education is the process by which a person gains the ability to produce ever improving results through the correct application of actions taught in that subject. Are you with me? Yeah. If you took a business class and did not improve your business and your life, you did not study, you were programmed. And who is the programmer in this case? Who is the programmer in this case? You. Exactly. Never the teacher, it's you. You, the spirit, are the only one who can program your mind to operate the hardware that is your body. So if this is the body, and this is your mind, and this is the spirit is the programmer that can program the mind to operate the hardware, which is the body. Are you with me? Yeah. This is the programmer. This is the right that write the program. This is the software. And this is the hardware. Very simple. Thank you. The purpose of study is to learn something, to gain new understandings and better ways to act and do things so that you produce ever improving results. The purpose of study is to gain more income, to produce more results that help more beings, people, and things, to have more free time and more life. So the first one is you need to have a purpose. This is correct learning. The second part of effective learning is this. You need to learn one principle at a time. One principle at a time. What do I mean? Whatever you study, medicine, marketing, sales, relationship, engineering, and so on, there are hundreds to hundreds of thousands of facts, true or false. If you try to remember or write down all those facts, you will gain nothing. One of the most common ways people become lazy, avoid confronting, and remain unproductive is by going to learn more and more facts without ever becoming educated. They go to college and then they go to university and they learn and learn and learn, and they're putting their life on hold until the age of 35, 40. Just lazy. They're just putting their life on hold. The key is to learn one principle that removes barriers to application and then apply it. You need to take one. If you try to take two, what happens? You have two open cycles. Because once you've learned one principle, you don't need to learn it anymore. You can go to the next one. But if you try to understand or to learn two principles at the same time, you have two open cycles. So you need to understand one thing. That's why I'm telling you, don't let me move from point A before you go to point B, before you understand, because before you made it totally your own, understand, make meaning, you made it your own. Only then let me move. So you learn one principle and then learn another principle that removes barriers to application and apply it. You learn the principle and you go and you apply it. You learn the principle and you go and apply it. And if not, you leave it as an open cycle. If you're learning new software, learn one button, use it, and only then move to the next button. Otherwise, you'll be confused. There are too many buttons. If you are selling, find one thing you fully understand about the prospect. In other words, make sure you get an answer to your question. One thing, make sure you get an answer to one question. If you are working, do one cycle at a time and never consider anything as too much, because you only deal with one cycle at a time. And one cycle cannot be too much. Do not look at all emails. Do not look at hundreds of thousands of facts. Handle one email at a time. Learn one principle at a time. Otherwise, you've learned nothing. So if I talk to you about one principle, don't let your mind wander and ask about this and wonder about this. And no. Understand one principle. Just decide that you're doing this one principle and fully understand. Fully understand. And you will see that the process of understanding this thing, that you concentrate on one principle, will give you all the answers. The purpose of this class or any of my classes is not for you to write everything or to remember everything. And I'm not going to test you. The purpose is to learn, to gain new understanding and better ways to act and do things, one principle at a time, and apply it. This is the purpose. Writing everything down operates on the postulate that one cannot know. If you need to write it, you're actually secretly admitting that you cannot know. The only effective writing is writing for others. If you write for someone else to learn, that's good. Otherwise, don't write it. Duplicate it, understand it. If you want to be successful, take one thing, make it yours, and use it for others. Notice, take one thing, make it yours, and use it for the benefits of others. And by the way, if you take 2 or more principles today, we will double charge you. So be aware. The reason people do not retain what they have learned is that they consider what was taught to not belong to them. They don't know that actually it's theirs. I don't teach you. I just convince you to create. If you think that I teach you, you will never retain what I teach you. As long as you have not realized that you made it all up yourself, you will not remember it. If you want to learn anything, create it. And by doing so, you own it. As long as you're trying to remember, you are admitting that you do not own it. The moment you can conceive the idea that you invented the data, created it out of nothing, that you wrote the book that you are reading, you will know. The moment you can conceive the idea that you invented the data, that you wrote the book you are reading, you will know it. The third secret of learning is quite amazing, that the only effective learning is learning by observation. Only effective learning is learning by observation. To produce results, you must learn by observation. There is a type of learning common in school where someone talk and someone else, you, must agree, must believe the teacher. Why? Why do you must agree? Why do you must believe the teacher? Why? Why do you have to agree? Because we are programmed. Yes, we're programmed. Why do you have to agree? No one told you you have to agree, but they did. How? You can confess they know and I don't. Make it easier. Yes. Mm-hmm. Yes, Bobby. Yes, exactly, to pass. Because if you do not agree, you fail the test. Do you understand the covert enforcement? If you don't agree, you fail the test. And in such a system, test, not result, define your fate. It's more or less like in a marriage. If you don't agree, you fail the test. Yes. Very expensive test, exactly. Therefore, the correct way to learn is not through authoritarianism, not through belief, but through observation that leads to realization, new understanding, and better way to act and do things. So when someone authoritarians, or when someone is an authority, he come and he say, "I know you don't," and he doesn't know because he understand the principle or bring result, but just because he says that he knows. So the king know, the teacher know is authoritarianism. Authoritarianism. Okay. So what is observation? We need to learn through observation. What is observation? What is observation? What is observation? When I say you need to learn by observation, what do I mean? Watching and taking what around you. So what's the difference between observation and looking? The ability to put it there. Yes, Curtis. Yes. 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 Okay. So let me, if this is you, this is your body, okay, and this is your eyes, and this is a car, and this is a source of light, okay? The idea of looking is that a beam of light hits the car, reflect to your eyes, went to your brain if you have one, restimulate something in the mind, and the spirit, if it's there, evaluate it, and if not, there is an automatic reaction. So far, so good. This is looking. Observation is something totally different. This is your body. This is a car. This is a source of light. This is the mind. And this is you. With observation, what happened? You put the car there. You put it there for no reason at all. Then you get light to hit the car. The light hits you, go through your brain, re-stimulate something in the pictures, and you have the benefit, you have the pleasure of being right. So you have a game. So when you observe, you put it there, and so it's there. When you look, you're an effect. It's there, and so it's there. Are you with me? Understand the difference? Thank you. So what is observation? Observation is the result of causation. You caused this car to be there. It's not that it's there. You observe only what you have caused. Lack of observation results in looking into the past, which is insanity and is manifested in reactivity, responding to stimuli. So when the process is this is the body and this is the car, and light hit the car and hits you and something happened and you react, this is totally reactive. It's from the past because the car was there already. Are you with me? What is the opposite of observation? What is the opposite of observation? Effect, fake reality, fear being an effect. The opposite of observation is robotism. The purpose of the teacher should be to help you observe. So you learn through realization, through new created understandings. Not because I told you and I'm the authority and you have to obey, but because you create. When someone forces you to follow a system, when someone prevents you from being source, they force you not to observe. If someone say, the church say that there is 7 planets because the number 7 is ideal, despite the fact that people observed the 8th planet, there was no 8th planet for the majority. When someone forces you to follow a system, we had the COVID and you had this nonsense of masks. And despite the fact that the size of a virus is 10,000 times smaller than the smallest hole that you can make with the mask, people use the mask. Despite the fact that a pandemic means that at least 30% of society die, they didn't get even close to that number, but everyone agreed that it's a pandemic. Are you with me? Despite the fact that it's obvious that insanity is not doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different result, 90% of society believe that it is. Yet, the only way to get result is by learning, and the only way to learn is through observation. Therefore, belief is a substitute for observation. If someone wants you to believe that there is God, is because he cannot observe God. He cannot put God there. But if he can put God there, he would want you to know that there is God. The only way to get result is through observation. Belief filters out observation. If you make someone believe strongly, they stop communicating, they stop living and become robotic. Because belief requires no observation, or actually demand no observation. So what is the end result of observation? What is the end result of observation? Truth, yes. What is the end result of exactly knowing, exactly knowing? You will just know for no reason at all. You put it there. You remember? You put it there. You put it there and it come back. So of course you know. I know it. What does it mean I know? I put it there and it come back. So I know it. I know. You put it there and it come back. That's what I know mean. The more you observe, the more you realize it is not dangerous. The less afraid you are, the more willing to become, the more willing you become to confront, which means to compare it to the principles. As soon as you begin to know it and thus become cause over it, what is the end result of believing? Robotism, we said that. The weakening of observation strengthens blindness, which results in belief, and belief produces further blindness. So if someone don't want you to be source and cause, they actually tell you don't observe. They want you to become blind and they want you to believe. And belief produce further blindness. You will see people that believe in things, they're totally blind. You can see that they're blind, yes? But they cannot. Knowledge is the result of observation, and it bestowed only upon those who are willing to confront. Only. If you want to handle authoritarianism, all you need to do is teach people how to handle, how to observe. So if you teach people that they can observe, if you teach them how to observe, if you teach them that they know, if you teach them that they are source and cause, they cannot have an authority over them. They will believe to nothing. Authoritarianism is a demand to relinquish your native position as source and cause. And therefore, authoritarianism will be accepted only for as long as you are not permitted to observe, to assume the position of source and cause. When someone tells you you have to follow this policy, not because you observed and you found that it's actually workable for you, not because you created it, because someone else say, and because it's written, you have to follow it up. You're a robot. After agreeing for a time not to look, to accept what someone or something else knows, that another entity is source and you are not, you eventually lose the ability to look at all. So you will do some crazy things. Someone will tell you, "Oh, we're the most ethical organization in the planet, and your job now is to go and break the laws." How? They will not even look. They will lose the ability to even look, never mind to observe. The place from which you observe is called you. If you can observe, you have you. Native state is a state where you can observe all viewpoints. Native state is a state where you can observe all viewpoints. That's the position. And therefore, it is observations, not fact, that lift you from the bottom to the top. Observation. What is true is what you have observed yourself, not what you believe, not what you react to, not what you want. And if what you have observed, assuming you actually observed, yes, differs from what you were told or what you experience or what you believe, then it is not true. Judgment can be exercised only over what you can observe, only over what you know. Which means that if you take a person that don't know the principles, he cannot observe. Do you understand? He cannot he cannot judge the situation. He cannot decide right from wrong. So he cannot be ethical. Without observation, there is no ethics. The person cannot be trusted. Anyone can make a decision, but only those who can observe can make the right decision for the situation. If you can notice something, place your attention on it and do nothing. Simply look, watch, and recognize its different parts. It will cease to present counter-intention and will stop being a problem. If you can actually look at something and look at something and look at something and bring it to a point where you actually observe it, it will cease being a problem. But if you justify and you call it looking or you call it observation, you'll get so re-stimulated that you will become so stupid that there will be no one to talk to. By observing, you realize that it is your considerations that form the mechanics of the universe. And so you know. And if you cannot observe, if you don't know the principles, you will obey the mechanics of the physical universe, totally being totally oblivion to the fact that you created them by considerations and all. The more you can observe, the less effort is required to produce the expected effect. So if you find that something is difficult, if you feel that you're exhausted, if you feel that it's too hard, you fail to observe. You're not confronting. You are not comparing to the principle Something got re-stimulated and you are comparing to your past, and you will complain and you will become critical and you will become insane and you will become sick, etc., etc. The less you can observe, the stronger the mechanics become, the weaker you become, and the harder it is to produce the expected results. If you try to cooperate with someone that cannot observe or is re-stimulated, or thinks that the mechanics are senior, you will see that it's impossible. The more you rely on mechanics, the more violent you become, and the fewer results you produce. Because mechanics needs force. You don't. As you become convinced to use more and more effort, to be more forceful, more damaging, in order to produce results, the less you can observe, not even the effect you created. Mechanics is how things are working. Observation diminishes as effect intensifies. So the more you believe the physical universe, the more you believe the effect, the less you can observe. The less you observe, the less you can decide, and the more the mechanics decide for you, and the less energy you generate, and the older you become. This is mind-blowing, yes. The less you observe, the less you can decide, and the more the mechanics decides for you, and the less energy you can generate, and the older you become. Because as a child, you observe, you see the obvious. You see children see the obvious. They say the most amazing thing because they can observe. They are not limited by their past. So they said the most amazing things. And so they are young. And the more they agree with the past, the less they can observe, the less they can confront, the older they become. Old age is caused by unwillingness to observe, which results in an inability to confront actions, which leads to believing in limitations. And limitations can only be believed, never observed, because they do not exist. This is unbelievable. Old age is caused by unwillingness to observe, which result in an inability to confront actions, which leads to believing in limitations. And limitations can only be believed, never observed, because they do not actually exist. Fake reality is a piece of information you are 100% sure is correct, but when you apply it, it does not produce the expected results. Most of life is spent accumulating fake realities. In fact, most of what people accumulate are fake realities, as evident by the very little progress most people make in life. The less successful you are, the more fake realities you are using. Fake reality is always hidden from you. For example, if your fake reality is that when income problems appear in business, you must cut all expenses, you will fail. The business will shrink and weaken. The truth is that in time of emergency, you must first increase expenses on promotion. Otherwise, there is no way to expand the business. Fake realities prevent observation. Therefore, learning by observation removes fake reality. And even if you never apply anything directly, by removing fake realities, one webinar at a time, your condition will improve, and what appear as miracles will happen. Though you and I know they're not miracles, maybe miracle, but not miracles, but the power of observation. Are you with me? Because fake realities leads to wrong actions, removing fake realities inevitably results in correct action and improved results. The source of all counterintention, the source of unwillingness, the source of failure is fake realities. Okay, that's all for the business class. I gave you a lot of data very, 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 very quickly because this data, you just need to hear it. You just need to hear it. It will do the effect. Yes. In the next seminar, the extreme wisdom, I will get much more into the subject of learning. And in the extreme wisdom, I will take every month one subject and really make sure that you can make it your own. And every time, every lesson, every subject, I can promise you that it will blow your mind. Thank you very much. Thank you for everyone that helped. Thank you, of course, for Hadari and the team for the continuous, unbelievable tenacity and pushing through and making things go right. Thank you for Anna for the help on all the design and everything else that I need. Of course, Gali, the God, that's really just unbelievable. And each one of you, for being here and doing your part in releasing this planet from the very bad, evil claws that's choking it. So thank you, thank you, thank you. I love you. Mwah.